Hello, guys. Welcome. This is your friend Daniel Kwame Kobe, welcoming you to ICAT's Leadership 360. This is where we discuss everything leadership and how we grow ourselves in our leadership. We've been looking at some of the attributes that every great leader should have, and it's been interesting. In this episode, we are looking at accountability, the protection of leadership. Accountability, the protection of leadership, and this is going to be worth your while. If this is your first time joining us, yes, subscribe to our channel, Daniel Kobe on YouTube. Click on that link, click on that bell, and receive the notification. Also, invite your friends, share this video if it's been a blessing to you, share with your friends. In this episode, we are looking at accountability, the protection of leadership, the fact that leadership should be protected. Every leader should be protected from him or herself. And accountability is one of those key things that you use to receive and give yourself that protection in your leadership. So we'll be talking about the danger of leadership. We'll be talking about what accountability is as a concept. Then we'll look at who do we account to? Accountable to whom? And then how do we get ourselves accountable? How to be accountable? And yes, the spirit of true leadership as we know it, it possesses a certain sense of accountability and responsibility. Anytime you come to leadership, you are responsible to some people, some individual or some group of individuals, and you are also responsible for something. You are responsible for delivering one thing or the other. And true leaders, they readily embrace and accept submission to authority. True leaders, they embrace submission to authority. They are conscious of the fact that they are just stewards. They are being in charge of something that is beyond themselves as individuals, something that they've been given, trust that they've been given, and that is the basis for which they serve the people that have been that have entrusted that thing to them. And so true leaders, they embrace submission to authority because they know that the spirit of leadership, if care is not taken and there is no accountability, you realize that you begin to do things for yourself and only yourself, and that creates chaos. The spirit of leadership seeks to be faithful in the sacred trust that has been given to them. So whatever followers have entrusted to you, great leaders understand this, and the spirit of leadership understands this, and you want to be a true and faithful steward when it comes to what it has been entrusted to you. It's not just about doing what pleases you and what you want. And that dovetails into what we are referring to as the danger of leadership. The danger of leadership is its potential, leadership's potential for wielding power without answering to anyone else. When people feel or convince themselves or go by the understanding that they are not accountable to anyone else, danger looms. And that is that potential, that is the danger of leadership. Every leadership stands at that risk, and you want to be sure that you don't fall into that category of tyranny and dictatorship, where in the absence of a leader's submission to authority, they do things that please themselves. They do things that they want and want to continue to do. So the protection of leadership is therefore a voluntary submission to authority. You're a leader, you know that this position or there's been some trust that has been reposed on you as a leader, and you want to be sure that you are accountable to those who have put that trust in you, and also to yourself, to humanity in general. And you want to be sure that, yes, this humility is showing, and this submission is showing that voluntarily you submit yourself to authority, that there is a certain authority beyond you. You may be the leader of the team or the group or the family or the institution, but you know that you are also accountable to a higher authority. So the spirit of accountability is active manifestation of that submission or that humility, that submission to authority. That is the spirit of accountability that we are talking about. Now, accountability is giving a reckoning of what it is that you are doing, your conduct, and you are reporting your progress. How far are you going? When you do these things, then we say that you are being accountable. You report. And I have some individuals in my life, apart from having a board of directors for HiCard and individuals that speak into the HiCard situation, there are some particular individuals that I seek to periodically report to. Just have a conversation and tell them, this is what is going on, because you want to have that accountability to check you, to make sure that you are not abusing the power and the trust that has been reposed in you. So it's also the admission of motives and reasons for taking certain action. So why do you do what you do? If you go to, for instance, a board meeting or a team meeting, an executive meeting, and you have taken any step or any conduct, you want to explain what is the motive, what is the reason behind it. We are talking what is accountability, and any accountable leader is one who will take the very nature of a servant, willing to serve, willing to offer some form of service, and you're also willing to be accountable to those that you serve, those that are your followers. You also show a willingness to be accountable to them. So a true leader is always conscious that he is not a law unto himself. A true leader is always conscious that she is not a law unto herself. That is to help check the leadership, protect the leadership, protect the trust that has been reposed or imposed upon you. Now, we want to find out in this episode also, who do you account to? Accountable to whom? Who do you account to? First and foremost, you should be accountable to yourself. The leader must be accountable to him or herself, to your conscience. What is it that you do that your conscience tells you this is right and this is wrong? You must be accountable to yourself, first and foremost. I was having a conversation with a friend recently, and I was telling the friend that there is a certain dissonance that happens. And when that happens, I'm uncomfortable. When I've committed to something, when I've given my word for something and I don't show up for it. It may be a meeting. I don't need to be the one chairing or leading the meeting. But once I come in and say that I'm going to show up and I don't show up, there is a certain discomfort that I feel. Okay, and it is about my own conscience. Am I doing the right thing? Am I doing what I'm required to do? The trust that has been imposed in me, am I holding it very well? Am I being a good steward? So your conscience, you want to be sure that you are accountable to yourself. That is the first thing, to your conscience. The second one is the primary stakeholders that you have, the people who are your followers and the people who have given that trust to you, the people who have voted you, who have given their power to you or their votum to you, the people who have placed you in that position that you find yourself. These are the primary stakeholders. They could be your family people. Maybe it's a team, it's a church, leadership, or it is an organization, you are in the corporate world, whatever role. Some people put you where you are. Some people placed you where you are. And these are the primary stakeholders. And you want to be sure that you are accountable to the primary stakeholders. Number three is for you to be accountable to the general family of humanity, the world. The whole world is expecting you to be accountable to the world. Is that what is expected of you? I was listening to Pastor Menzo Tabo this week, and he was talking about generational leadership. And he's talking about Oprah Winfrey conducting interviews with some individual leaders, great people, and coming to the conclusion that majority of those people that Oprah Winfrey interviewed, she says that one thing runs through all of them, and that is the fact that they see whatever they did or whatever they were doing as a calling. They see that as a calling. And so you as an individual, you know that at a certain point, whatever it is that you are doing, you are called to do what you are doing. And it's a duty to humanity. That's what I'm talking about. So you are accountable to the entire generality of the family of humanity. You are accountable to the whole world. Some of your decisions will have an impact on the whole world. Some of your decisions will have an impact on a certain portion of the world. And you want to be sure that you are accountable. This thing that I'm doing, am I doing humanity right? You want to find out. You want to be sure that you are accountable as a leader. Last but not the least, in fact, the greatest, is that ultimately we are accountable to God, the creator, the one who created this world and set up all the systems and structures in the world, who dropped you in this world. You and I are accountable to the creator. Whoever you call the creator by name, remember that we individually, collectively are responsible to the creator. So to whom are we accountable to? And we are saying, number one, to yourself as a leader, your conscience, be accountable to yourself and to your conscience. Number two, the primary stakeholders, those who have given you that power and that trust. And number three, the general family of humanity. Number four, the creator. He is the ultimate authority, and you want to be accountable. So all true leaders are aware of their responsibility to a higher authority. There is a higher authority in charge of this cosmos and this world that we are living in. So particularly in relation to the creator, all of us true leaders are aware that they are accountable before God for their words and their actions. Whatever you say, whatever you do, or whatever you fail to do, you are accountable. Your acts of commission, your acts of omission, you will be accountable for all of these. And that is before the creator, that all of us. So these are the four people or groups of people that we as leaders are accountable to. Now, how to be accountable is the next thing that we want to talk about before we wrap up. The following are some guidelines, okay? That is not exhaustive, but these are guidelines to help you to be accountable in your life. Number one, commit yourself to be accountable to your personal convictions. There are some things that are personal convictions, something that you do that are based on conviction. Be accountable to your personal convictions in your life. That is the first one, how to be accountable. Number two, establish the word of God as your final judge and authority. This thing, is it in line? Does it conform with the word of God? That is the second way of trying and pursuing accountability with your life. Number two, appoint and submit to a group of tested, respected, credible, and mature people that you will take advice and counsel and correction and instructions and rebuke from. And they should be tested, okay? They should be trusted individuals. They should be respected such that when they speak into your life, you will listen. You need to appoint these individuals. You need to choose and appoint them because you will have to hear their rebuke. You will have to hear their correction and hear their instruction. And you want to be sure that these are individuals that you will give the respect to. And so in our situation, if you have a company or you are running a business, you need individuals like that you appoint as board of directors or board of advisors, people that meet and can speak into your life. It's your business, it's your life, it's your family that you're running, but you should be responsible to some individuals that have been tried and tested, mature enough, respected enough that you will listen to their counsel. You will listen to their advice. You will listen to their rebuke. You will listen to their correction. You will listen to their instructions that they give to you for the life that you are leading. Number 4 is choose friends who are committed to high standards. Those high standards that you have set for yourself. Those high standards that you have established for yourself. Choose friends that also ascribe or subscribe to those high standards that you have set for yourself, and give them the right to judge you by it. You set a standard, you give them the right to judge you by those standards. And you need those kinds of friends who speak into your life. The 3 is about people who you appoint to be able to give you corrections and guidance and give you counsel and advice. But these 4 are close friends. So how to be accountable? We are saying, number 1, commit yourself to be accountable to your personal convictions. Number 2, establish the word of God as your final judge and authority. Commit yourself to that standard of the word of God as your final judge and authority. And number 3, we are saying appoint and submit to a group of tried and tested individuals who will speak into your life and you will respect what they are saying. Number 4, choose friends who are committed to the high standards that you have set for yourself. And then you give them the right to judge you by the standards that you have set. Okay, so to summarize and to wrap up all that we are saying, perhaps the best advice when it comes to being accountable, we can read from what Apostle Paul wrote to that first century church in Colossae. And he said to them in Colossians chapter 3, verse 23 to 25. He says this, let me read it. Whatever you do, work at it with all your heart, as working for the Lord, not for men, since you know that you will receive an inheritance from the Lord as a reward. It is the Lord Christ you are serving. Anyone who does wrong will be repaid for his wrong, and there is no favoritism. That is what the Apostle Paul wrote to the Colossians. Colossians chapter 3, 23 to 25. I want to read it again. Whatever you do, work at it with all your heart, as working for the Lord, not for men, since you know that you will receive an inheritance from the Lord as a reward. It is the Lord Christ you are serving. Anyone who does wrong will be repaid for his work, and there is no favoritism. So, friends, to conclude this episode, to manifest the hidden leader that is within you, you must embrace this attitude of accountability. Always be conscious that you are responsible to those below you. You are also responsible to those above you. Everything you say, everything you do, you are responsible to those below you and those above you. You want to be conscious of that. And you also need to be cognizant of the fact that whatever you do as a leader may be personal, but it is never totally private. Whatever you do as a leader may be personal, but it is never totally private. And you want to be cognizant of that. Your ultimate accountability is the creator of all, the creator of all leaders, who knows the thoughts and attitudes of your heart. And you want to be sure that you are doing right before him who knows and sees all things. I believe this been worth your while. Thank you very much for making time and joining us on this episode of ICANN's Leadership 360. As I said, share with your friends this video, subscribe, and also get your friends to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Until we meet again in the next episode, it is bye-bye from us. Take care of yourself and keep safe. Bye-bye.